And Darwin's finch is a very good example.
Yeah. And if you look at Darwin's finches, the story about that, you know that the ancestors there, you must remember it comes from the mainland of South America, and they reached these islands long before other land birds. The way they have landed there, there are certain...
But there are certain theories.
Yeah.
They might have been blown by a storm, or they might have floated on logs or whatever. Fact of the matter is, there were quite a few finches from the mainland of Ecuador that got onto the Galapagos Islands, and over a long time. So they were separated from the mainland birds by the sea. They couldn't go back. The storm didn't blow them the other way.
Yeah. And what they must remember too is that all these islands had different vegetation, plants, and of course, and because of the different environmental conditions there. So now these finches landed on these different islands, all of them now under pressure because of the different vegetation and the different conditions.
And these islands are sparsely vegetated, so there wasn't that much food to start with. So that was the environment causing natural selection.
So once again, you can see they are now separated by the ocean, which means it's geographic isolation, and this is going to cause allopatric speciation.
Yeah, so let's quickly run through the points here.
And there you see, they become, because of that selective pressures, they will undergo natural selection, which means that the nature will select those characteristics that are maybe they're more adapted to that lifestyle there, or the vegetation there, and then the population become very diverse and they change. And the same keywords that you have written down now, those are the keywords that you have to write down to explain Darwin's
I think you will see that the keywords are the same. It's simply within the context of Darwin's finches. Whether it's the context of Darwin's finches or the cichlids in the Malawi lake, in Tanganyika lake, whatever population it is that we're talking about. The keywords and the process.
I'm actually glad that you're using the example now of the cichlids, because there can be allopatric as well as sympatric speciation when we look at the cichlids.
And just maybe a tip. Matrix, when you're asked to explain natural selection or speciation, whatever type of speciation, don't use an example such as the finches or the cichlids or anything else and describe what happened to the population without using these important keywords such as geographical barrier, no gene flow, natural selection, differently in genotypically and phenotypically. So please remember that there are keywords that are important. Those are the words that they look at. The example is simply to flesh out your answer and to make it relevant. But the keywords and the key concepts important. Right, let's have a look.
Yeah, let's just continue with the Darwin's finches here, the Galapagos finches. And that resulted because of those selective pressures. They underwent natural selection, and that is why you have the ground finches, those that feed on seeds, and of course the size of the bill needs to be, or the beaks need to be the size of the seeds if they want to eat, and it must be strong enough to open up those seeds. Then the tree finches, they all eat insects, and some of them even use specific tools to take out these insects from inside the bark.
And they all came from the same ancestor.
Yes.
And today it's not just what they eat. They are so differently in structure and appearance and in habits and in habitat that they won't recognize each other as family anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there you have all the finches. You can see different beaks and the bill sizes there because they're all eating different food types.
Right. And just to answer Eben and Benika, migration will not result in allopatric speciation unless, remember, migration means that like the birds that go to Europe in our winter time and get back in summertime, they still have contact. The only time that migration will lead to allopatric speciation is if some individuals migrate, the others stay behind, and those that migrated are not allowed. They are in some way prevented from reuniting with the original parts. So remember, it's about geographical speciation. People, this happens over a long time. We're talking thousands of years. It's not going to change tomorrow or the day after. Somebody asked about humans being an example of macroevolution. Yes, if we're talking about the past 8 million years, then it takes a long, long time.